It took us almost 2 hours to get from Tate's Creek Center to here to park.
A traffic mess in Lexington tonight as thousands of people tried to get to the Luke Bryan concert. Some of them had to park along the road and walk.
How a Lexington attorney hit and killed while riding his bicycle will be honored with a memorial ride.
The issue of marriage licenses and county clerks came up again tonight during tonight's debate for governor, what the candidates are proposing.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening to you. At one point, Lexington police say the traffic was backed up for 8 miles. Tonight, thousands of people packed Tate's Creek Road hoping to see Luke Bryan perform.
The country music star held an outdoor concert at Talon Winery tonight. Organizers expected 20,000 people to show up, but many of them say they couldn't even make it to the concert. As you can see in this video that Officer Don shot from Sky First about 9 this evening, there was a major traffic jam on Tate's Creek Road. Luke Bryan even waited for as many fans to show up as possible. Our Garrett Weimer joins us live now from Tate's Creek Road with our top story at 11. Garrett?
Well, the traffic right now is not backed up quite as far as it was a few hours ago, and that's the good news. A huge crowd showed up at the Talon Winery on what was a beautiful night for that concert that was rescheduled. This time around, the weather was not the problem. It was getting there, and a lot of people did have problems getting there, and many missed a lot of the concert trying to make it. Thousands came to see Luke Bryan live in concert.
It took us almost 2 hours to get from Tate's Creek Center to here to park.
The road to get there wasn't without its bumps.
Once you hit the one lane, it was bumper to bumper, but you were only moving about 1 inch at a time.
Mainly.
Leela Lane says she was able to avoid some of the traffic by coming early as a thank you to her sister-in-law.
I like Luke Bryan. I did not want to stand out here since 11 o'clock and be in line, but I did it for her, because we could not make it without her.
And even after folks got parked, it was still a long hike to the stage. The fans who made it in time say it was worth it, but traffic was backed up for miles still long after the concert started.
Our boots are made for walking. So.
That's exactly what some people did, getting out of their cars and walking as much as 3 miles to get to the concert.
We started at 5 o'clock today, 5 o'clock, so we decided to park and walk the rest of the way. We've gotten further parking and walking than we have driving the entire time.
So many cars backed up so far. At one point, they were backed up on Tate's Creek here all the way near the intersection of Man of War, where I'm standing here at Tate's Creek Center. Now, at this point, we're just waiting to see what that traffic is like when the concert's over and everyone leaves. A police officer you can see over my shoulder is already here at this intersection, ready to keep an eye on the timing of the traffic lights and hopefully help with that as everyone heads back home. Live in Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Yeah, we hope it's a smoother road home tonight. At one point, Luke Bryan took to Twitter to tell fans that he was going to wait for as many of them as possible to arrive before even starting his show. He began performing just after 9:30.
New tonight, Madison County school leaders and Richmond police are investigating a threatening message found in a school. Clark Moore's middle school leaders sent letters home to parents today saying someone found the message on a bathroom wall. School leaders think it's a copycat of a threatening message found at Eastern Kentucky University Sunday night. Richmond police told us they're taking the message seriously, but they do not think any students are in danger. EKU leaders say they have received some tips as they try and track down the person responsible for the threatening message found there. The university is offering a $10,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. The FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force is helping with the investigation. As a precaution, Model Laboratory School on campus is closed the rest of the week.
This weekend, cyclists from around central Kentucky will ride in memory of a Lexington lawyer hit and killed while riding his bicycle. Police say a suspected drunk driver hit Mark Hinkle back in May while Hinkle was riding the Horsey 100 event. So the Bluegrass Cycling Club has planned a memorial in Scott County to honor Hinkle. Monique Blair has that story new at 11.
The thing about Mark Hinkle is he was a very positive and uplifting person.
This picture was taken on May 23rd during the Horsey 100, just a few miles before 57-year-old Mark Hinkle, who is pictured on the right, was struck by a truck on Lemons Mill Road. Hinkle died from his injuries.
Now his friends, family, and fellow cyclists plan to permanently honor Hinkle.
I contacted the mayor of Georgetown, and he was willing to help us out.
Now this is where that accident happened back in May, here at mile 99 of the 102-mile bike ride. And on Sunday, a ghost bike will be placed right here permanently to honor the life of Mark Hinkle.
A ghost bike is a bicycle that is painted white and left as a memorial at the site where a cyclist was fatally injured. The idea for the bike is not only to honor Hinkle, but also to leave encouragement and a positive message to all who pass it.
What we want is for this to be inspirational and uplifting to people when they see it, you know, to think about having maybe a little push, because it's also right by a hill. So having a little push up the hill, and maybe Mark's helping them do that.
Sunday's procession to the memorial site will be led by Georgetown police officers, followed by Hinkle's cycling team, the Zombie Zone. The ride is open to the public, and a portion of Lemons Mill Road will be closed during the dedication of the memorial.
You hate when things like this happen, but it also helps to bring the community together. And we have noticed that drivers are a little more respectful. So that might be a positive that's come out of this.
In Georgetown, Monique Blair, WKYT.
And on WKYT.com, we'll have more information about how you can take part in the Mark Hinkle Memorial Ride.
If you enjoyed today's sunny and warm weather, you'll like what's in the forecast for tomorrow. Let's check in now with early with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey. Another same kind of day?
Yeah, pretty much same old, same old. Not just tomorrow. I may do it one better and give you an additional day into Thursday. Then we got to change it up a little bit as we get closer to the weekend. High pressure controlling the weather right now across most of the eastern part of the country. So the winds upstairs coming at us from the north. Defender has nothing on it. A little bit of cloud cover has been showing up on and off throughout the day. What we're doing, though, we're looking at those temperatures that will drop fairly quickly as we go through the next few hours into the low 50s in a lot of spots. First thing tomorrow morning, those numbers not too bad for this time of year, and that'll set the stage again for another very warm Wednesday afternoon. All things considered, temperatures low 50s by the afternoon. We're back into the upper 70s for the trip back home with a mix of sun and clouds. Overall, though, another fantastic day. Focus of the forecast in less than 10 minutes on a cold front that is on the way for our Friday. Guys, Friday and rain kind of going hand in hand right now. Friday doing its best Monday impersonation. We'll show you why the rains are coming in from the northwest when I come back in a few minutes.
Chris, thank you. The weather has improved in South Carolina, but tonight parts of the state are still submerged after record flooding.
The historic storm is being blamed for at least 15 deaths in the state from drownings and traffic accidents. As Weijia Jiang tells us, communities downstream are preparing for more flooding.
Residents are bringing damaged belongings to the curb after record flooding in Columbia, South Carolina.
What we'll have to do is gut the whole entire house, dry it out, and start from scratch.
Oh my God. Angela Cole's house is ruined. She and her family were rescued from their attic after posting an SOS on Facebook.
We're here and we're alive, and that's all that matters. My kids are safe.
Water has started receding in some of the hardest hit areas, revealing extensive damage and debris, but some people still can't get home, and more flooding is expected. Crews work to form a makeshift dam on the Congaree River. They plan to drop hundreds of sandbags to close a breach in the canal. But the big concern is the low country, where several rivers like the Edisto make their way to the sea.
We are going to be extremely careful. We are watching this minute by minute.
Tens of thousands don't have access to drinking water. Donations are pouring in, and 4 distribution sites have been set up in Columbia. More than 800 people are staying in shelters, and additional evacuations could be ordered if the water starts to rise again. Weijia Jiang, CBS News, Columbia, South Carolina.
And she mentioned that breach in the canal. State leaders say that the breach in the canal near Columbia is threatening to cut off the main intake valve for the city's water system.
Tonight, Center College in Danville hosted a debate in the governor's race featuring Democrat Jack Conway and Republican Matt Bevin. Independent candidate Drew Curtis did not qualify for tonight's debate. One of the issues discussed tonight, Kentucky County clerks who are refusing to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples for religious reasons.
In a regular session of the General Assembly, if we can come up with some narrowly tailored plan that upholds the Supreme Court's decision on marriage equality, but also allows for very narrowly tailored exemptions to allow those few clerks to exercise their religious beliefs, then I'm okay with that accommodation.
And if I were governor, I would indeed remove the names of the clerks from the forms. We would, in fact, make this a downloadable form. It would then be filed like a deed mortgage, like a deed or a mortgage or a lien, like any other document that would allow it to then be adjudicated accordingly, but not officiated by the clerks themselves.
The candidates will take part in another debate on Sunday, October 25th on the EKU campus in Richmond. That debate will air here on WKYT.
Tonight, 4 people face charges after police say they found some children living with pigs and other animals in filthy conditions.
The Whitley County Sheriff's Office made the discovery at a home on Old Mill Road. Investigators say they were called to make a welfare check on a horse, but instead they say they found the children alone and in the home in bad shape.
Feces on the floor, just purely filthy. I looked through the refrigerator, it was filthy.
Police say Frank Lockaby was supposed to be babysitting the children. They say he was wanted on child endangerment charges. Police also arrested the children's parents, Joshua and Aurora Jenkins, and charged them with child endangerment. And they say a 4th person was arrested on outstanding charges. Police say the children are now with other relatives.
Tonight, Lexington police are warning people in the Masterson Station neighborhood about a series of thefts from cars. Today, police went door to door, leaving flyers to warn people. Police have received reports of 9 thefts from cars in just the last month. In most cases, the cars were left unlocked. Police say that guns, electronics, and other items were stolen. Police say they want to make sure people lock their cars.
And if we can correct that part and just get people to remember to just simply do things like that, roll your window up, lock your doors, make sure your valuables are in your trunk, that'll reduce things pretty drastically.
Police say they've also increased patrols in Masterson Station. A stretch of Old Frankfort Pike in Lexington has reopened after a crash shut it down for hours. Police say a dump truck hit a utility pole this afternoon, knocking down power lines across the road. No one was injured, but the crash knocked out power to dozens of customers in that area. Police say that Old Frankfort Pike reopened just before 10. All power has also been restored.
A special guest helped a Lexington-based company celebrate a big milestone tonight. Valvoline kicked off its 150-year commemoration with an event in Rupp Arena. And NASCAR Sprint Cup driver Dale Earnhardt Jr. was on hand to help the company celebrate.
Pretty awesome. They've been a great partner of ours and really help our performance out on the racetrack. We started out the beginning of the year, and in just several months we've been able to find some extra horsepower in the composition of the oil.
Valvoline is America's oldest registered motor oil brand.
Good to have them in town. Coach